everybody, and welcome back to another Borderlands 3 video. Before I get started, I'm just real quick going to show you guys the setup that I am currently running through. Obviously, I am running with Zane, but I have the OPQ assault rifle with 2 Cutsmen, both one cryo, 1 electricity, the yellow cake, the transformer shield, the seeing dead class mod, the fish slap grenade, and the effable knowledge artifact. Now, the assault rifle and Cutsmans are anointed with 100% cryo damage, which is really good with Zane. I think definitely with the, at least the lightning cuts, thunder Cutsman, I would like to have 300% while enemies are over 90% health. But for the most part, equipment that you practically would have other than like the redistributor, the equipment that I have right now, you'd want to run through the raid through Mayhem 4. And so I basically am trying it out here, and for the most part it runs through just fine. I don't have a problem with it, especially on Zane. Obviously you guys can tell like the enemies are a lot more tankier. Now I'm not running through with like a stagecoach or the anarchy shotgun and just completely one-shotting everybody. I'm sure probably when they say they definitely fixed the whole loot drop system in the raid, I'll probably actually just run through it with the anarchy, because god damn it, I deserve it at this point. But this is basically a video, guys, to basically get out there and say that the loot drops are completely broken in the raid. And you know, you take it to Twitter or YouTube comments, and I don't think people are actually seeing it, or people aren't, or just people haven't played the game enough to really realize that the weapons that they're picking up are probably for Mayhem 4. This whole big update has basically made it so any chest that you open up, all weapons are made for just Mayhem 4. There's nothing that you can get from a chest that is Mayhem 10 that I have heard of so far. I mean, if you seriously get a Mayhem 10 weapon from a chest, go buy a lottery ticket, because you're going to win it. It is that bad, guys. And it shouldn't be, especially for a looter and shooter. We should not be handicapped from the amount of weapons that we get from a looter shooter. That honestly is just one of the big problems that I have had with this update. But real quick, guys, I'm going to show you guys something cool that you guys are about to see here. For some reason, as I was running through the raid, it got to a point to where, as you guys can see, my ammo is kind of getting into close to 0, and eventually, after killing like 5-10 more guys, I decided to run back and get ammo. That's pretty much what I always have to do when I'm going through this part of the map. But what's cool is, when I run to get ammo and come back, for some reason none of the enemies spawned. And as you guys are about to see here, after I kill just a few more of these guys, I mean, I have almost 40 shots left, I decided to run back, and I'll fast forward through the video. For the most part, I just want to show you guys that how it happened, and it did happen. So after running back through, or back to get ammo, and then after running back to the enemies, there was only a few enemies that actually did spawn. I think 1 or 2 spawned that I actually end up killing. I think I end up killing this guy right here, and then from there I just completely leave it and go straight for the door with the I like to call them elementalists. I don't think they're elementalists, but I like to call them that just because when you run into them, they always have a different element. And I think these 4 guys have each of the elements other than radiation, which is actually one. Now I'm getting off topic, but which is actually one elementalist that I don't think is in the game, and it's a radiation one, which is kind of weird, but kind of nice. It kind of basically even shows that if we had some of these guys that were actually radiation, for the most part, they would be pretty easy to kill. But with radiation, it just shows that you can practically use just about anything on it, unless it's really armor for the most part. But after killing these guys, at first I was thinking to myself, wait a minute, I didn't have to kill any enemies behind me. So after checking out the loot here and there, I did eventually start going back to the beginning, and then all the enemies started spawning again. So I pretty much said screw that and went straight for the Wotan boss, which brings me to my next biggest pet peeve with the raid. And real quick, as you guys can see that I'm looting, and this will be a little spoiler about what I'm going to talk about. If you notice, some of the weapons that I have not opened up any chests, I have only killed enemies, are dropping Mayhem 4 weapons, which is a big problem. Not only are chests not spawning Mayhem 10 weapons, now you're telling me that enemies, which it already happened today, this was actually recorded Sunday, and I've been playing Monday. It's about 6 a.m., so this video will go live about 8 a.m. I was farming Captain Trant, and I had 2 stagecoaches drop. And even in this takedown or boss fight that I did, I had multiple weapons. I'm probably 75% of the weapons probably dropped in Mayhem 4, and there was some really good drops. Like, I mean, you guys will see later on in the video, I had a dictator fire that dropped with a cryo 100%, which was only for Mayhem 4. And, well, Mac, how do you know it's for Mayhem 4? Well, for one, the dictator only had like 363 damage times 3 or something around there. I think it was 500, which I know what a normal Mayhem 10 looks like, which is actually like 1500. It ain't bad, but that's how you can basically tell whether or not that these weapons are dropping. So the next big problem that I had with all this is that, I mean, as you guys can see right now, look at, like, this is a Cutsman, Mayhem 10 Cutsman with 100% cryo damage, and it's maybe doing, I want to say, 4 to 5% damage every clip, maybe a little more if we're counting like ticks and everything. But for the most part, it takes a few clips to basically get them down to nothing. And I know what people are going to say, why aren't you using like a Sandhawk, or try the new S.M.G out. I would love to, guys, but the sad thing is they just don't drop for me, and I hope they are for you. But the drop rate on all the new weapons are completely dog shit, and I don't understand why, but I feel like even the new cartels legendaries actually drop pretty frequently for the most part. Usually about every 2 times I go through there, I can get like a yellow cake or something like that. The yellow cake or the OPQ or whatever, and I can pretty much get it easily. Now with these big changes that I'm assuming a lot of people are experiencing, hopefully it gets fixed. I'm gonna say that right now. Hopefully it gets fixed relatively soon. It'd be really great if I saw like a quick update that was needed today, but I don't think it's gonna happen, and I can't quite remember when Gearbox usually releases their updates, especially with all this content that we released. Now, don't get me wrong, guys. The content was amazing. The content they added was amazing. Just the patchwork definitely it needs to be patched so bad. But yeah, guys, as you guys can see right here, like the OPQ is not doing bad. For Zane, I can't imagine going through this raid on any other character than Zane right now. I feel like my Flak would have so much difficulties. Amara would probably be pretty easy, but even with Amara, like, I'm thinking like her damage reduction is, I don't think would really help with all the damage that you're taking right now, especially since like it doesn't feel like our health bars or shields have been really scaled to the damage that enemies are able to do. That's just my opinion. But later on in this video, you guys will see me looting the boss and all my findings. Now, with my findings, I did get a Kaiba, and it was anointed. But throughout, and I'm going to talk about some of the weapons that you guys will actually see throughout the pickup of the items, and just a few of like, holy shit, you got that and you won't be able to use it. Yeah. So the first finding that I actually found was we already went over one. It was the Dictator, which was pretty good, especially with 100% cryo and fire. But I think but for fire for the most part isn't really as useful, especially with all these modifiers. And even if you have the cryo modifier, that would basically render Zane completely useless, is another one. But with fire, at least you can use radiation, and with cryo, well, that's where, I mean, half of Zane's damage at least came from, or comes from, for the most part, when you're dealing with Mayhem 10, and when we were dealing with Mayhem 4. There was another pickup that I had a lob that dropped from this raid, and it was only 11,000 damage, which I think actually was maybe a Mayhem 5 weapon or a Mayhem 6 weapon, because I can't quite remember what a Mayhem 4 looked like, but it could have been either one of those. But for the most part, it was still dog shit because it wasn't a Mayhem 10 weapon. And I'm sure today when I'm grinding through this raid, just to see if some of the glitches and bugs work, I feel like I'm going to probably get a redistributor that is for Mayhem 4, and I will completely explode when that happens. So the first pile, completely nothing. And then I move over to the second pile. As you guys can see, the Cutsman is complete dog shit. The Kibsworth is what I pick up. Go to the third pile. Complete dog shit. I'm not going to go over all the weapons I'm going over as far as looking at them. But half of these weapons in the pile were made for Mayhem 4. Less than Mayhem 10, so I never even picked them up. I eventually move over to another pile with a 625 times 25 stagecoach, which didn't drop from Mayhem 10, so that was just another pickup. And I also had the cryo damage with it, with the stagecoach, which I completely, can't use. But yeah, guys, there's just so many things wrong with picking up Mayhem 4 weapons. And like I said, I don't like to do these videos. I'm pretty good at them, because like I always say, if you're not bitching about the game, you don't truly love it. But this is just a huge problem for a looter shooter to have. Guys, I really think that's gonna wrap it up for me and my big rant that I was going on about. Gearbox, if you guys see this, if somebody from Gearbox see this, if a YouTuber bigger than me sees this and has contacts, I mean, let's get this fixed, because this is just stupid. I mean, but that's all I gotta say for that, guys. I really hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys did, please like, subscribe, turn on notifications. There's gonna be plenty of more videos to come. Hopefully more videos on builds and weapons than problems with the game. But I think this was just icing on the cake for me, and this definitely needed to be brought out, especially since I did a video on basically what Saturday was bringing me, where, guys, I seriously did not see any of this many legendaries from like 2 days ago, which makes me wonder if the patch that I had to get Sunday was maybe like a hot fix to what they added, for what they added as far as like maybe trying to fix some of the weapon drops. But if that's the case, they still didn't fix it, because I am getting so many Mayhem 4 weapons. So that's going to be it for me, guys. I really hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys did, please like, subscribe, turn on notifications, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you, and goodbye.